You're entering VTV's Chamber Zone. Your business community at work. Representing the Vernal area and Duchesne County Chambers of Commerce, here's Adam Massey and Irene Hansen.
Hello, I'm Irene Hansen with the Duchesne County Chamber of Commerce. My co-host Adam Massey is not able to be with us today, so I have invited a very special guest to be with us today that I'm actually thrilled to have and kind of surprised during the legislative session he was able to be here. But I have with me Fred Hayes, Executive Director of Utah State Parks. Now, with almost no notice, how in the world did and the legislature going on, how were you able to make a trip out to the basin?
It's not hard to talk me into coming out to the basin, and it's not hard to talk me away from Salt Lake during the session. And when the two of those combined, it was that perfect storm. I just told them I was gone and loaded up and headed out this morning.
And you know what? It's like heaven when the weather's good and you get to see that beautiful blue sky coming across Strawberry. There's nothing much better than coming out to northeastern Utah.
Not at all. And as I came through Strawberry, the temperature gauge, the thermometer on my car said it was -8. And so when I hit springtime and saw the prairie dogs over Halfway Hollow, I knew I was in the right place.
Well, I'll tell you, that's pretty exciting, but we have some things coming up in the basin. First of all, I have to brag a little bit here. We might have the 4 best state parks in all of the state of Utah right here in northeastern Utah. So we're going to talk a little bit about those because there's some big stuff going on. And of course, being from Duchesne County, I have to talk a little bit about Starvation, and they have underwent a huge renovation in the last year. Tell us first about that.
Starvation is, of course, one of my very favorites. We've got 43 state parks, and if I had to list my favorites, Starvation would certainly be on that list. That's where I started my career. Wow. Now, I'm a Duchesne native, and I needed a summer job, and so I signed up at Starvation 30 years ago. So to see the transformation that park has gone through in the last 2 or 3 years, to the old kid who used to mow the weeds, it's amazing. We had the opportunity to take some federal money through the Bureau of Reclamation, who, of course, owns the reservoir and
right.
administers that land, and combine it with a little bit of spare money that we had and totally renovate the campground at Starvation. It's absolutely amazing what has happened there. Of course, most of the folks, and I know you've been to the part down on the beach.
Absolutely.
For Family Fun Day. It's incredible, and we've finished the upper part except for a few punch list items, and I hope everybody in the basin will come out and join us. We're going to have an open house at Starvation this spring. I don't have a date yet, but we will get the information out to everybody, and I hope everybody comes and joins us for that open house, sees what we've got.
You know, and whether we do hot dogs, whether we do root beer floats, but I guarantee you we're going to have a party to kick off the season. And the other thing, and I don't know whether it's coincidence or whether all of the just the right things happening at the right time, but I think Starvation has been named one of the best winter fishing destinations in the state of Utah just recently in the last few weeks.
It has. In fact, all of our guys, it's kind of funny because most of our folks work at reservoirs and they all take their days off and come to Starvation to go fishing. It's just been great fishing. Some big fish too. Some real good fish. You have to stand on the ice to get them, and so that kind of dissuades me just a little bit. But it's just phenomenal fishing this year, and it's turned on. And with a new park and with fishing that great, how do you go anywhere else?
That's exactly right, and I know Duchesne City is so proud of Starvation, considers it kind of like their backyard, their home. But they welcome the world because they love it every weekend and during the week when we have guests come from all over the world, primarily there to see Starvation, to visit, to camp, to fish, and so it is one of our favorites. But there's a lot of activity going on in northeastern Utah. So before we get to the field house, which we'll go into in our next segment, big things going on there, let's talk a little bit about Steinecker.
Steinecker, of course, last year suffered a little bit because of low water, and then all of you who jumped into Steinecker last year found swimmer's itch and know what a joy that is. But we anticipate that Steinecker will have some water this year, and that boating at Steinecker and Red Fleet will be back to par. We've tried to do some new things. You know, we kind of know what our regular visitors want to do when they come there, but there are a lot of folks who don't come to the state parks because they there may not be an activity there for them.
Right.
And so we've tried to encourage our folks to adopt what we call the attitude of more, which is more people having more fun in more parks more often. And at Red Fleet this summer, we'll have rental canoes, kayaks,
Wow.
those kind of human-powered boats. And I will tell you, I spent some time at Red Fleet, and there is nothing better than a summer's evening in a canoe to paddle up to the west, up the creek, and look at the birds and smell the smells and hear the sounds that are up in that canyon.
You know, the other thing that I think Red Fleet is known as northeastern Utah's Lake Powell. Beautiful red rock. It is just a nice camping. It's small. It feels very intimate. Again, Red Fleet becomes everybody's new favorite. So we're going to talk a little bit more about those things as we come. Again, I have Fred Hayes with me. We're going to go to a quick break. But Fred, we could talk all day. I can't wait for our next segment to really get into what's going on in Vernal.
Almost 45% of the oil produced in Utah, 7.8 million barrels, comes from Duchesne County. That oil feeds our state economy, provides job growth, and supports local business. Here in Duchesne County, we're working to make Utah an economic, cultural, and technological leader. Whether you're here for business or pleasure, Duchesne County will welcome you with open arms and invite you to explore all the beauty of the Uintah Mountains. Duchesne County, close enough for business, far enough to get away.
Welcome back to Chamber Zone, your business community at work. My co-host Adam Massey, of course, is not able to be here with me today. And man, am I going to give him a hard time, because I think he might have missed the funnest show that we've ever had here with Fred Hayes from Utah State Parks. You're famous, if not infamous, Fred, and it's all about fun. More fun, more often at more parks. I've heard that is not only your mantra, that you're well known by that. And so tell us about more fun in Vernal.
More fun in Vernal. Vernal is a great place to have fun. You know, with the parks that surround the Vernal area, and in fact we've got one right downtown, the field house, it's just a great place to come and play. But we're working right now really hard to make sure that we've got connections from the parks to other attractions as well. Most folks travel today looking for a package.
That's true.
Well, we want to offer them a package. We want folks to come and camp at, say, a Red Fleet and bring their boat and have a really good time, or rent one of ours. But we want them to bring their four-wheelers too. We want to be able to provide access from the campgrounds at, say, Red Fleet or Steinecker out to the mountain. And let's package a whole lot of things. They can go and spend a day at the museum. They can go and spend a day on the mountain. And those programs, those recreational programs, really add that variety that I think folks are looking for. And Vernal's a great place to do it.
Absolutely. And you know, state parks, again, a lot of people don't know this, but they do everything from OHV safety to, you know, classes to teach people how to safely use their boats. Sure. So they're over so many more things than what might initially meet the eye, which is just a ranger taking your money as you go to your favorite state park. And so let's talk more about programs. Now you've got interpretive programs, which will lead us into our conversation about the field house and the new curation facility. But what are some of the other programs that State Park has?
You know, there is something for everybody at one of the state parks around the state. 43 state parks, and they all have this huge slate, this huge variety of things to do. Everything from horseback riding to ATV riding, to boating, to canoeing, to hiking, to just finding things and enjoying being outside. One of the most popular activities lately has become our scorpion safaris, where we go out at night with black lights, and scorpions glow at night under a black light, and we'll hunt scorpions at night. And we're getting people traveling from all over the country to participate in scorpion safaris. Have you done that yet?
I haven't done that, but you put me on for the next one.
This summer, we're going to have you out hunting scorpions. Watch for the tail. Be careful. But it's all sorts of things. The history of Utah is portrayed in some of our historical and heritage parks. The prehistory, of course, right here in Vernal at the field house. We have everything from the beginning of time through today's recreation available at state parks. We can even get you on a horse and let you herd buffalo if you want to.
You know, I've heard that is fun at Antelope Island, is to go out there for the buffalo roundup that's done annually. But let's talk a little bit more about the field house. There is a new curation facility. One thing I love about being involved with state parks is the partnerships. I mean, whether it's federal, whether it's state, county, local, they are very proactive with the community, building partnerships and friends groups. And one of the things that's happened here in Vernal is that we've had an opportunity to build really a unique curation facility that's in conjunction with the field house now. Now this is going to be a big draw for people who are either geologists or archaeologists, as well as other people who will all be coming to that curation facility. Why did we need it, Fred?
Well, we anticipate that the visitors to that facility will be everybody from the amateur geologist or paleontologist who just likes dinosaur bones, up through the professional scientist who needs to come and gather information. That facility became necessary because of federal law, which requires that any archaeological specimen that's retrieved from federal property be stored at a federally licensed, if you will, curatorial facility.
Right.
Has to meet certain criteria. And what we were seeing with the booming of the petroleum industry in the basin is literally truckloads of dinosaur bones and other paleontological specimens leaving the basin, and that's unacceptable.
That's right.
And so we started to talk about what we could do. We had some storage available at the old field house, but it was not suitable. The roof leaked, the boiler was shot, and we were in the process of taking that down. And we needed someplace to keep these specimens, or they were leaving. And so, you know, you talked about partnerships. That's never been more true than here in the basin. Here in Uintah County, the county stepped up. We pitched an idea at them, and they said, no, we think we can do better than that if you'll let us help. And I've said at the groundbreaking, this would not have happened in any other community in the state. But they stepped up. The Mitigation Commission, how do you say anything more about them? They stepped up, they found the money, the building is built, the specimens are in the building, and we're ready for a grand opening on April 12th that promises to be the party of the year for Uintah County, in fact, for the whole basin. For
the whole basin. In fact, just to give you a few details, the ribbon cutting is on the 12th, which is a Friday. Now this is worth bringing the whole family to. Friday the 12th at 10 o'clock, and then for maybe one of the very few times that curation facility will actually be open to the public. There'll be a few drawers open, there'll be staff there that will help you understand the type of specimens that will be stored there. We'll be able to see how the scientists will be using that facility. I'll tell you, it's going to be exciting. There's so much to talk about, so little time, but thank you so much for joining us on Chamber Zone today, and please be sure and join us next time right here on VTV Channel 6.